It was really pressed on me to make a video about this today, so I'm gonna do it. Um, my best friend, before my best friend passed away, before he ended his life, and before I ended my life, back then, uh, we were talking a lot. I mean, a lot, um, over. I wasn't a YouTuber back then. We were talking over Facebook secretly. You know what I mean? Because even back then, we knew, like, if the powers that be on this planet knew that we were talking like this, they would find us and get us up. They would kill us. You know what I mean? Because we knew too much. We did about what's going on the planet. You know what I mean? What's really going on the planet that no one knows about. The average person doesn't really know. you know, we really knew what was going on. So, so anyway, not even conspiracy either. We actually did know what was going on. We did. So, but anyway, despite knowing what I know what's going on, I don't really care anymore. It's like whatever. That's where I'm at these days. I don't care anymore about anything. About the greater good, nothing. Because like, if you try to be a good guy, try to help people, they hate you anyways. You probably figured that out. Jesus did as well. You try to be a good guy and help people out, they spit in your face, nail you to a cross. Don't forget it. So, it doesn't pay off to be a good guy. Trust me. Anyways, enough about that. You try to point out how people are being controlled. They don't like that. They don't like that. That's what I mean. Try to point out that the religion they're in is a lie and a cult. They don't like that. They don't like that. All right. Like I said, no one likes someone that says the truth, like me, is honest, like me. It's like it's impossible for me not to be honest. You know what I mean? I don't know who would win in an honesty contest, me or Jesus. You know what I mean? It'd be a tie. I'm just kidding. We'd always be honest. Just kidding. But I swear God made me this way. It's so hard for me to lie. It is. No joke. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna tell the truth. It's gonna lead me to my death eventually. It will. You tell the truth so much in life. It's worked out okay so far. But if you do it, telling the truth a lot can lead you to being crucified or locked up. It can. Trust me. Honesty, spitting out honesty and truth in this world can lead you dead, locked up, crucified, lashed, you name it. This world does not like truth and honesty. Trust me. Trust me. There's a reason why you compare my channel to what you see on television. There's a big difference. There's a big difference from what you see on television, what they're spitting out at you on television. Big difference between what I'm telling you right here. Huge difference. And you probably figured that out as well. This is no joke. It's hard for me to watch things growing up that I believed was true. You know what I mean? From society. It's hard for me to watch that now. It's almost to the point where I can only watch my truth, what I'm saying. I know more than what society knows. So I can only watch me. Only I know what the hell's going on. Basically. Jesus, probably. Sometimes I think I know more than Jesus, though. Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. You know what I mean? Jesus is distracted over there by his followers. He's distracted. I know it. That's when I pull into the lead. You know, I know more truth. He was distracted. That's how it works. Anyway, it keeps me going, all right. Anyway, gotta find something to keep me going. I'm alone most of the time. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, who's the only person that's stronger than me, smarter than me? Jesus himself. I'm gonna somehow, some way, I'm gonna surpass him in truth, honesty, strength, you name it. Keep living in your dream world, Adam. All right, I will. I will keep living in my dream world. You know what I mean? But remember, you're saying my dream world. You're saying Jesus is not real because he's in my dream world. You're saying he's not real. Not me. You did just now. You did. Don't you forget it. You said, get out of my dream world. Jesus is part of my dream world. So you're saying Jesus is just a dream? You just said that. Don't you forget it. So, it's really just me. There is no Jesus at all. He's just in my mind. Maybe. He's just in everybody's mind. That's what my friend was saying, you know. He's all about science, you know what I mean? But he admits there's things that science can't explain, you know. And I was telling him about how, like, I think science can't explain that there may be a God, you know. Based on my life, there may be Jesus, for real. You know what I mean? That's what I was talking about. Because I used to think like him, you know, I'm like atheist. You know, I was for a while. But he still is, you know. We grew up in the same cult, me and him. We both broke off from the cult. But he stayed atheist, while I kind of went from atheist to being like, okay, Jesus is real. That's where my transition came. I'm like, yeah, he's proved enough. He's proved enough to me. He's legit. All right. All right. Jesus is legit. All right. Every religion might be bullshit, but he alone is legit. All right. Just him. Just him. All right. Nothing more. Nothing more. So, but anyways, what this video is about, really, is before my best friend died, we talked a lot, and I had the conversation saved until, you know, I stopped getting on Facebook and all that, you know. So it's just kind of in my memory now, you know. But he said some key things that I keep reminding myself. You know what I mean? Because my best friend is pretty smart. He's pretty wise. He knows that, like, there's not many on the planet like us that go through what we go through. Not even close. So we have to live a different way. We have to live through life a different way. Because we're going through way different things than everybody else. You know what I mean? So the strain on us to survive is more than the strain on others on the planet to survive. That's factual. It was harder for us to stay alive on the planet than for everybody else. 100%. Way harder. So we had to live a different way. a different code. You know what I mean? So he told me things to help me keep on going. You know what I mean? No matter what, you know what I mean? He told me things. I wanted to, maybe these things will help you. I don't know. I don't know how many out there. There's got to be more than just me and my best friend that are like me out there that suffer greatly no matter what they do. They don't even know why they suffer greatly. I'll tell you why you suffer greatly. You probably were close to Jesus or something. That's all I'm saying. If you're close to Jesus, like very close, you suffer greatly no matter what. No matter what you do on this planet. No matter what professional you see. No matter what medications you take, you suffer greatly. That's the rules of giving a shit about Jesus. A lot. Before you're born, especially. Anyway. Enough about that. But he told me things that keep me going. You know. That have helped me keep me going. And one of the things he said was just live. No matter what anybody says or does, it doesn't matter. Just live. It doesn't matter that everyone's blind except for us. Just live anyways. He's like, it's not easy. He told me straight up, it's not easy. And I always say, to this point, from back then to this point, I'm like, it wasn't easy. It still isn't easy. It's fucking hard to just live and ignore the whole world. Ignore everything the world does or says around you. Just live anyways. Anything they do to try to take you down, basically. Anything they say to try to cut you down, doesn't matter. Live anyways. Keep walking, basically. I swear, he was the wisest person I knew on the planet. He was, and there's a reason. I think he's even wiser now. That since he told me these things, I see him as way wiser now. He was right about so many things. I'm like, holy shit, he was right. Everybody is blind except for me and him. He's right. Except for, the fact that I'm alive means Jesus isn't blind either. So, me, him, and Jesus isn't blind. But sometimes I like to think that Jesus is blind. God is blind. Sometimes I like to pretend he's blind like the world. You know what I mean? God's like the narcissist of the world. He's blind as hell. Sometimes I like to pretend that to make me ahead. I'm smarter than God. Anyways, enough about that. But that's what he said. He's like, just live. But lately I've been saying, it seems like I've got to do more than just live. You know what I mean? It seems like things have gotten that difficult. I have to do more than just live. I actually have to do full court press. Live plus full court press. You know what I mean? On top of it. Like live plus a push behind the living. Not just living, but with force. You know what I mean? Everybody does 5 things in a day. Just an example, like 5 different activities in a day. I have to do 10. Be ahead of it. You know what I mean? That's what I mean, full court. I don't know. Because if I just live and just do the basics, I'm not improving at the pace I need to be improving at. You know what I mean? And that's what I was telling Chad if he was listening. I'm like, just living alone doesn't seem like it's enough to survive in this world and thrive for a guy like me. It may have worked in the past. Just living, doing the basics. You know what I mean? But it seems like I have to try a lot harder now. You know what I mean? To stay afloat. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm like, God damn it. And a part of me thinks that way because I'm like, oh, uh, God's not going to be there for me, so I have to really try harder. You know what I mean? I have to cover more ground myself, basically. Less dependence on God. You know what I mean? Basically. And that's what I was saying today. I'm like, it seems like just living. It was working for a while, just living, you know. Like my best friend was telling me, but it seems like I have to try harder now. Rise higher. You know what I mean? Ascend higher. Try, you know what I mean? Reach a different level. I do. I'm like just living and existing, kind of. May have worked years ago. It may have worked years ago. You know what I mean? But it seems like it won't work now. I feel like I have to like try harder in many ways. Think differently, you know. Talk to myself differently even, you know. You know what I mean? So his advice works, it does. But it seems like I have to do more. If I want more of a life, like a real, more fulfilling life, I have to do more than just live, you know. But maybe he's right. Maybe all I can do is just live and enjoy each moment as I live, you know what I mean? I don't know. So that's one of the things he said. Very wise words for people that are not blind on the planet. Just live, ignore everybody else. Because guys like, people like us could get derailed by people. They could get distracted, derailed by the world if they don't live by this advice of just living no matter what anybody does. If you get distracted by the people of the world or what the world's doing, you can get derailed. But if you just live and just ignore it, you can keep going. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he was trying to tell me, you know. Because I think he knew the world is blind compared to me and him, which it is. For the most part, the world's blind. Like no bullshit. Like there's a reason why you won't find a channel anywhere that'll match what I talk about on my videos. Really, not really. I don't think so. I haven't found anything close. Not even close, you know. Everybody just wants to sell you stuff. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they just want to sell you stuff. Although I have been asking for donations. All right, I'm sorry. I have. All right. I'll take the heat for that, you know. But I made almost 1,000 videos without a single donation. Not a single donation. Almost 1,000 videos until I got a donation. Think about that. So, most of my videos are pretty inspired. You know what I mean? It's no bullshit. No video is just a bullshit video. It's not. It's important for me at that time, and it's important for somebody else to come across at a certain time when they're ready for that video. You know what I mean? Because I'm inspired to say what I'm inspired to say. Really, I don't just make a video up for just for the hell of it. I don't. It's because I'm being pushed by something I want to say at that time for a reason. I'm being pushed by something, so I say it to get it out of me. You know what I mean? To ascend me, to get me to the next level. basically. Get me past the next snag. If something's holding me up, I gotta talk about it. It's holding me up. You know what I mean? Trying to untangle things in my mind, Years and years of programming in my mind. I'm trying to undo it all. Counsel myself through it all. You know what I mean? Work through it all. One-on-one with myself. But anyways. So that's one of the things he said. Was just live. Sounds simple. Doesn't seem like much. But it's a lot in a world like this. For guys like us. You know what I mean? That are nothing like this world. Can't fit into this world no matter what we do. So we have to find a way to keep living. Despite what anything the world does. No matter what the world does, we have to live anyways. We have to keep going anyways. Because we're nothing like the world. You know what I mean? Him and me, we're not. He knew I wasn't more than I did. I kept still trying to be like the world. Yeah, I'm part of the world. Yeah, I can fit in with this religion here, this religion here, this group here, this group there. I couldn't. At the end of the day, I stand alone. Look at me now. After all those years trying to fit into whatever group I did, and I tried to fit into many things, at the end of the day, I stand alone. And he knew that. My best friend knew that. Eventually, I would figure it out. That no matter what I did, I couldn't fit in anywhere. I would stand alone. Like Jesus, back in the day, stood alone. No matter what he did. You know. So he knew that. So it's good advice for people like me. Just live, no matter what anybody says or does. No matter what the advice is. No matter, it's hard to give advice to someone like me. It doesn't work. And my best friend knows that. That's why his advice works better than anybody's advice. His advice is just live. Is better than anybody's specific advice to me at any time. Just live is better than anything anybody can give to me. Out there. And he knows that. So. Because if the whole world's distracted in their own distractions with each other, they're confusing each other out there. I'm ascending out here, living. You know what I mean? I'm not among the quagmire of confusion out there. Get what I mean? See what I mean? Wisdom. So just live, no matter what anybody says or does out there in this world, no matter who it is. Just live, ignore them. Basically, ignore them. I don't care what their position is. Ignore them and go live. Keep living anyways. Live, do what you want anyways, But I don't know. Light's kind of shining weird. So that was one of the things he said. And another thing he said that's been going through my mind lately, especially. Because lately, especially this last month, I've been thinking like me living by myself. I mean, me keeping on going like this forever. You know what I mean? Like I am. Just living just to live. Suffer just to suffer. I think is pointless. You know what I mean? It seems pointless. There's no one around me. You know what I mean? There's no reason for me to be here, in my opinion, anymore. But he told me nothing we do in this life is pointless. And I think he told me that for a reason, because that keeps being brought up to me lately. Nothing we do in this life is pointless. Nothing. It appears that what I'm doing right now is pointless. I'm not doing much except for talking to my phone, camera. I'm just sitting here. I'm not doing much. It seems pointless. There's no one around me. Nothing. It seems pointless what I'm doing for humanity. It does. It seems pointless. But to him, it's not pointless at all. It matters greatly. So he knew something that I didn't figure out, So if I can see things like he does, he did. And nothing we do in this life is pointless, no matter what it is. Then anything I do would be pointless. Anything, no matter how boring it is, no matter how pointless it seems, nothing would be pointless. You know what I mean? If I had his perspective. And I'm not sure why he told me that, but there was a reason he told me that. And there might be some truth to that. And maybe Jesus thinks the same thing. Nothing you do is pointless, no matter how minuscule it seems. You know what I mean? No matter how small it seems, It's not pointless. It's not a big act. It's not a big act for humanity. Like suffering in Gethsemane. It's not a big act. It's just like picking up a piece of trash on the floor. Even that's not pointless. You know what I mean? A small act of picking up trash off the floor. Even that's not pointless. And that's what that's what I have to remember, Because even though I think a lot of my life was pointless, I do. And my best friend knew I thought that about my life. I just thought it was pointless. My whole life, even at this point, I just thought this was super pointless. Suffering for no reason. You know what I mean? Being in pain and suffering for no reason. To no end. Pointless. And a loner? Pointless. But to him, not pointless. See the difference? How he sees it? He totally sees everything that I see as pointless as what I think is pointless, which I do think it was pointless. Most of my life I thought it was pointless. A lot of suffering for no reason. He totally sees it, a point to it all. Completely sees a point to it. And maybe Jesus sees a point to it too. All this shit that I didn't see a point to any of it. No point, pointless suffering. That's how I saw it. He saw it. My best friend saw it as there was a point to it. Like, it really mattered for real. Like, not even making it up. Not to make me feel good. It actually did matter. Everything I thought was pointless. All the small things I did in life. Holding the door for somebody, for example. Pointless stuff that I think is pointless. Totally matters to my best friend. No bullshit. And that's one of the things he told me that I've been remembering a lot lately. Because lately I've been thinking this is fucking pointless, It is. It's all pointless, So I've been remembering that lately, especially. So that's the second thing he said. And another key thing he said was basics are key always. And I always remind myself of these things he says throughout each day, to keep me going. Because his advice is better than anybody's advice. Hands down. As simple as this advice is, it's better than everybody else's. Save so much money just by listening to his advice. You know what I mean? You don't have to pay a professional, just listen to his advice. Yeah. So one of his other things of advice was basics are key, always. Basics are key. Always remember your basics. You know what I mean? As mundane as they are, as I see them as mundane, I do. I hate doing these basics over and over and over and over. And he knows I hate that, like eating. You know what I mean? I hate that we have to take time to eat every day. I hate that. I just want to live. I just want to live. Eating is not living to me. It's not. It's a waste of time. It's just like, you know what I mean? Total waste of time to me. But not to him, Basics are key. Eating is part of basics. Eating, drinking water, sleeping, shelter, those main things right there. Basics are key always. Make sure you always have those basics. You know what I mean? Always. As you go in life. You always have those basics. Make sure of that. Sounds simple, but, for guys like us, it's hard to maintain the basics over and over and over and over and over, continually. It's hard to keep up with everything. Shelter, especially. Yeah. So as you're traveling, basics are key always. Because we're basically travelers on this planet, me and him were, so basics are key as we go traveling. Wherever we go on this planet, traveling. Even in our minds, traveling, So that's another thing. Basics are key always. So if you're like, oh yeah, basics are key always. Just keep it simple. Basics are key. Don't get too complicated with like, I gotta do this fancy thing or this complicated thing. Remember the basics. Remember the basics. So that was the third thing he says that I always think about. What else did he say? He said that we are light in energy with potential that is endless. And I think that's why Dragon Ball Z makes sense to me and him. Because we understand light and energy or something, and unlimited possibilities of that. Because at the end of the day, that's what he believed we were. When the physical is put away, we are light and energy. That's what he believed. And I think he was right. We are light. When the physical body is out of the way, we're light, Light and energy. With endless possibilities. Oh, and then another thing he told me. And this is pretty key. Because he knew, he called it the enemy as well, like I do. He called the enemy the opposition that tries to take us down. That does exist. It's not made up. He's like, have the last laugh. You know what I mean? No matter what they say to you, no matter how many times they say to end your life, basically, to try to kill you, have the last laugh and stay alive anyways. You know what I mean? Something like that. Have the last laugh. Something like that. I wish I could pull it up, what he wrote. But it was something like that. Just have the last laugh. Because Lord knows, we've taken so much shit from you name it on this planet. From real people, from invisible things. We've taken so much shit, it's not even funny. So if we still live, and despite all that, it's huge. You know what I mean? Have the last laugh. If people knew that, like I said, if people knew the onslaught that I've taken all the way to this point from many people, you know what I mean? Plus things you can't see, they'd be like, holy shit, they wouldn't believe it. They would not believe it. The only person that would believe everything that I've endured and survived to this point is Jesus, God himself. The only reason I know that he knows that I've done it is because I'm alive. You know what I mean? He had been paying attention, you know what I mean, to keep me alive through it all that onslaught, basically. But he allowed me to go through that onslaught to make me what I am right now. You know what I mean? He did. As ugly as it was, and how badly I cursed God's name because of it all. He made it possible to make me what I am right now in front of you right now. You know what I mean? Like a potter making a pot in the fire of hell, basically. Refining a pottery. That's what God has been trying to do most of my life. You know? Because no matter how badly I just want to make myself the final product, it's got to be done just right for an extended period of time. Just, you know what I mean? Extended period of years. I had to survive ugly shit. You know what I mean? In order for the pottery to be right. Basically. But anyways. So that's another thing he said, is just have the last laugh. And I feel like I kind of do, you know, when I'm trying to be funny in videos, I'm kind of laughing in the enemy's face, because like before I make a video throughout that day, I know the onslaught against me to try to take me down throughout that day. And so I'm like making a video like none of that even happened. You know what I mean? So I'm just making fun of it, you know, like having a good time on my videos, yeah. Like, no opposition today. Nothing happened. But it's not true. A lot of shit tries to take me down. You know what I mean? Like no bullshit. So like in between each video, people wouldn't even believe like the onslaught that goes against me. That I know God just allows to happen, you know, so I can like ascend, basically. Yeah. Not go down, you know, from all this pressure. You know what I mean? So I make a video. I'm like exhausted from the day. I make a video and be funny. Like nothing happened. Nothing. No one tried to take me down. Nothing. You know, we battle against things we can't see, not flesh and bones. It's true. That kind of shit tries to take me down. The things you can't see. I make a video like nothing happened. Like nobody tried to take me down. Nothing. Damn right. Oh yeah. Because they aren't worth my effort to even mention. I mention them sometimes, the enemy. But not as much as they would want. As much effort as they put. As much effort as they put, I don't acknowledge them. And that's what's funny, yeah. So that's another thing he said, is just have the last laugh. Because he knows better than anybody. He knew, and I knew, the onslaught we take night and day. Night and day. You know what I mean? So if we have the last laugh despite all that, you know, we're just laughing in all their faces, the better, you know. Hell yeah. And that reminds me of another thing he said that I think about a lot. Especially the days that I'm suffering a lot and no one understands. It, like today even. I was just sitting there today. I was just texting Bibbles on, you know, on YouTube. I was texting Bibbles. But I was just sitting there and like kind of just like no one understands what I go through night and day. No one does. No one gets it. And that's what I thought about today. No one gets it. No one does. But my best friend did it. He understood because he went through it. You know, he goes through what I go through. Before he died, he goes through what I go through still right now. Night and day. He understands the opposition I fight through night and day. 100%. I'm like, I wish people could see it visibly, like physically see. That's what I've always wished. They could physically see with their physical eyes, the onslaught against me throughout the day. Like they could physically see it instead of it being invisible. I'm not bullshitting. I've always wished this because it's not bullshit. Because everybody's like, oh, it's bullshit. It's on your mind. It's not. It isn't. God knows it as well. It's not all in my mind. It isn't. Maybe some of it is, but not all of it. There's actually opposition against me outside of my mind. 100%. God knows it as well. If I'm alive right now, God knows it as well. For sure. If I'm still alive right now, God's not an idiot. That's how I know God is smart. If I'm alive right now, he knows everything that I go through night and day to this point in my life. You know what I mean? So, anyways, enough about that. But so the thing my best friend always said that I thought about today even, and I always think about on my bad days, which is pretty much a lot of the days are bad days, you know. It doesn't matter what I do, like every day's tough, you know. I have to live through pain every day, basically. No matter what, it's just like, I'm alive. There's nothing I can do about the pain except for live through the pain. I just have to work through it. That's how it is every day. Every damn day. Oh, I'm in pain. Nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? I'm doing everything I can for the pain anyways. Nothing I can do about it. Can't cure it. Have to live through it anyways and try to live throughout the day anyways. Every day's like that. It gets old. I know it does. That's why I get discouraged. I'm just like, God, this is pointless. Just take me in my sleep. This is pointless. You know, I'm just suffering every day. But no, doesn't listen to me. It's like, oh, there's still hope for a good life. There's still hope despite the pain you're in every day. Despite the suffering you're in every day, there's still hope for a good life. Don't you worry. I swear, if Jesus didn't go through any of this, I wouldn't even care to do any of this. I wouldn't even care to do suffer this much to this point. I wouldn't care. You think I would have gone 10 years longer than I had to without Jesus? No. You know what I mean? The fact that I know that Jesus, you know, went through this shit, you know what I mean? Like me. No matter how painful it's been, that Jesus went through it. I'm like, God damn. That's part of the reason why I do it. It's not a joke. You know what I mean? It's like somehow Jesus kept going, so I can keep going as well. You know what I mean? But anyways, what my best friend always said, well, what he's told me. And this is when I realized he did understand what I was going through most of my life. This is when it clicked, you know, that he understood what I went through most of my life when nobody did. And then it clicked to me that he suffered the same as me. You know what I mean? As well. And I never really realized, it never really clicked to me that he suffered like I did, exactly, when nobody else did. And he knew how I suffered because of that. You know, it clicked to me. I'm like, holy shit, he really did suffer like me most of his life. He really does know what it's like to suffer like me. And this is what he said. It pains me that you suffer like I do night and day. It pains me. And when he said that, I'm like, he understands. He knows what it's like to be me, to suffer like me every day. because he goes through it as well. No one understands but him. No one understood but him. So, and that kind of reminded me of another thing he said. Is like, he said, this dimension or this life is hard to live in. This isn't a Disney movie. And I need to remember that, because he's absolutely right. Because what seems like it's easy for others, to live in this dimension, seems like it's harder for guys like me and him to live in this dimension, this life, And that's what he said. Because a lot of people live like this life. It's just, hunky-dory. This is a fantasy life. Social media, hunky-dory. And it ain't the reality at all. This dimension's hard to live in. It is. It ain't no Disney movie. And I need to remember that. It ain't no Disney movie. Those Disney movies don't relate to this dimension and how hard it is at all. At all. So I need to remember that, and I think I remember that right now for a reason. So I don't get lackadaisical, and think life is supposed to be a happy, hunky-dory Disney movie, when it's never been that way. Never. So I shouldn't think it should be, with roses and flowers and stuff, and birds and the bees, God giving me the birds and the bees talk, That was pretty funny. There is some out there I gotta give credit to that's super smart out there. Call it Jesus, call it whatever, higher power, whatever. Something's out there and even my atheist friend said this. There's something out there that's beyond science. It seems like it's true. They just gotta laugh about, like the stork bringing in Timmy for me. Only a higher power could be that smart to like listen to me, when nobody else is listening to me, to actually set that up to say that, ahead of me, That's why I said, like, God or Jesus is like steps ahead of me. They're way ahead of me. They've seen my future. They've seen me fall in love. Think about it. That's a crazy thing that I thought about today. They've seen me fall in love. They predicted my whole future to see me fall in love. They've seen me in a relationship. You know what I mean? They have. Higher power, whatever. Or Jesus. They've seen me already in a loving relationship already. Hasn't happened right now. They've seen me. They can see the future. They've seen me in a loving relationship. They've seen Timmy be born already. God has. That's how he can predict my future. You know what I mean? That's how he predicted my future in the past. When he told me the truth one time, the only way he could predict that, when he told me the truth one time, when God did, is if he could predict the future, if he saw the future. You know what I mean? A future position of me. So it's true. God can see past, present, and future all at once. He can. 100%. I kind of can. I can't see future, but I can see present and all my past at once. I can see the present right now and all my past at once in my mind. And that's another thing my best friend said, because his mind works like mine. He's like, it's all about a memory, so you can come back to it again, like recall the memory of the past. Because I do that a lot. I can recall certain memories, go back to what I learned from that memory, come back to my present, and like utilize it in my present. have all these memories that I've stored away, you know. It's all about the memories. That's what my best friend was always saying. It's all about the memories. You know, this life is just about the memories, making the memories, you know, so you can recall it again of what you know, witnessed back then. So that's another thing he said. And then, what else? One of the funny things he said, because him and I, it's no joke. It's no joke. And I'm still kind of like this. And I admit it. It was so hard for him and I to die, to officially die. We were going through so much pain and suffering throughout life, but we couldn't die. You know what I mean? We couldn't just die. We were just suffering to no end. Just like I am to this day, to no end. We can't die. We can't find death. You know what I mean? We can't find instant death, basically. We're going through all this suffering. We can't find death. We can't find an end to it. You know what I mean? An end to our suffering. We can't find it. There's no instant death that we can find. And if we do try to find it, the God or gods, he said gods because he thought there's more than one God. Maybe Jesus and the Father God. Who knows? Who knows? But he used to say, I am so important. He would put in words. He was really good with words like me, you know, typing the words out. He's like, I am, because I am so, like many O's, so important to the gods that they keep me alive on this planet. Like being sarcastic. I'm so important. I'm so important to the gods on this planet. I'm so important to be here. Kind of how I feel now. I'm like pointlessly suffering, but I'm so important. I'm so important to the gods to keep me on the planet. I'm so important. He's so right, my best friend, you know. He makes so much sense to me. It's not even funny because I live it. I live the same shit that he did. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's been so hard for me to die. It's not even funny. Like I was thinking about this. Like in the Truman Show. Like he couldn't die. He just walks out into traffic. Traffic stops. It's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? He tries to test it. You know what I mean? It's like the Truman Show. I can't die. If I walked out in traffic, God would stop the traffic from killing me. It is. Like I can't die. And that's what I realized. I can't die no matter what I do, it seems like, until this purpose is done for God. No matter what I do, I can't die. It's serious. It's no bullshit. And God knows it's true, you know. Like, so that's why I'm kind of like, oh, have I done the purpose yet? I had to have done the purpose, you know, 1,000 videos. I had to have done the purpose yet. So far, the quick death is coming. Oh yeah, peaceful death. Get me out of my pain and suffering. Oh yeah. But nope. Wake up the next day. Nope. God's like, nope. No dying tonight. Just going to sleep, that's all. Just sleepy, sleepy. Just going to bed, that's it. Not dying. Of course, you know. But it always pissed me off. Like, I was always pissed off. Because my best friend couldn't. Because he always said the quick death would be the best thing for guys like us. And it's true. The quick death. That's what I'm always talking about. The quick death. Quick, painless, done. You know what I mean? Quick, painless, certain death. Bam. End to pain. End to pain our pain and suffering instantly. No more pain and suffering. No more. All the pain and suffering for decades. It's over. Quick death. It's done. But no. We're so important to the gods that they keep us alive. But the thing that I thought about, that I thought was crazy, he found it so hard for him to die for a long time, to suffer. I felt he lasted a long time. Even though I've lasted way longer now, he lasted a long time in my opinion for suffering wise. He did. People don't know how much he suffered, but I kind of did. But I thought that since he found it so hard to die himself, somehow he pulled it off. That's what I thought was crazy. Somehow the gods allowed him to die, to end his life. Somehow he pulled it off. I'm like, damn, that's not fair. I've always said that. I'm like, that's not fair. He gets to die. He gets to die and I get to stay alive and suffer more when I wanted to die more than him. What the hell, And in my mind, I'm like, even Jesus got to die at the end of his suffering. Even Jesus got to die. Officially, his body died at the end of his suffering. Mine didn't. My body didn't die at my worst suffering. My body didn't die. I didn't get to die, right? Obviously, I didn't get to die. Look at me. I'm not dead, I lived 10 years, 11 years longer. 11 years longer than I should have lived. And God knows it. I'm like, was there really a point to keep me alive 11 years longer than the point of what I thought was when I was supposed to die? Was there really a point to keep me alive 11 years longer? Was there really a purpose to that? Was there really a point to that? Because I don't think there was, in my opinion. I don't think there was. I don't think I served a grand purpose of any kind during that 11 years. And God knows it. Like I didn't heal one blind person. I didn't do shit for purpose. Yeah. But God sees it differently. God totally sees it differently. And that's why I got to remember, he totally sees it differently. Because God even values me, like giving a homeless man a sleeping bag. God values it, because if I was dead, I wouldn't have been alive to give that homeless man a sleeping bag at that time. Basically, that's how much God thinks it matters. Just that small detail. I swear, that small detail. If I wasn't alive, I wouldn't have been able to give that homeless man a sleeping bag. That's the kind of impact my life is for me to be on the planet still. I was alive to give that homeless man a sleeping bag when nobody else gave him a sleeping bag for months. No one gave him a sleeping bag for all that time. I'm like, holy shit, You just want a sleeping bag, No one would have given one if I was dead. Think about that. No one would have given him a sleeping bag if I was dead. So I'm like, so God can see the future. So he saw that since I didn't die, back then, he saw the benefit of keeping me alive, because he knew eventually I would give that homeless man a sleeping bag that needed a sleeping bag. And that's what matters to God. That kind of detail. Don't you forget it. Don't you forget that kind of detail. That's what matters to God. He doesn't care that you never got fame or fortune. You were alive to give the homeless man a sleeping bag at that time, that moment. That's what matters. That's what part of the purpose is giving that homeless man, a sleeping bag. I wouldn't have been alive to give him a sleeping bag if I was dead 11 years ago. It's just math. That's just simple math. Simple math. If I'm 6 feet under, I can't give the homeless man a sleeping bag. Simple math. Basics are key always, like my best friend said. So, um, what else did my best friend say? I just hope to hell I made him at least pleased, for my effort that I made to stay alive 11 years longer than I had to. Hopefully I made him pleased, if no one else. Just like, yeah, he made a badass effort. He made a badass effort. Look what all he did in those 10, 11 years. He may not have fell in love and made a kid named Timmy, but he did all this other stuff in that 11 years. And that was badass. And that's what I want my best friend to say. If nothing else I accomplished over the last 11 years. It's just that. Just him say that was badass. That was badass. Against all odds. Against all odds. Damn right. Still against all odds, by the way. To keep going against all odds. I promise it is. But anyways. So that's pretty much all the things he said. He called me a big guy. Like he knew my spirit was bigger than how big I am physically now. He knew my spirit's bigger. You know what I mean? He always called me big guy. Him and I'm not even that much taller than him. He called me big guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm some huge super soldier. You know what I mean? Beyond this physical form. You know what I mean? Like you saw my real self behind the physical. You know what I mean? You think I look mean in the physical right now, like this? I'm even meaner in my spirit. God knows it as well. Oh yeah, he knows I'm a lot meaner. No bullshit. Like, what you see in the physical, that's not the real general. The real general's behind the physical. Oh yeah, much meaner. Much meaner, He's right. There's a meanness that I haven't showed. In any video. He knows it. But anyway. I always feel guilty that I have a mean side. I'm like, I shouldn't have a mean side. That's bad. It's bad that I have this mean side. You know what I mean? I'm like, I should be all good. But I'm not. Oh well. But this is the way God made me, alright? I should accept the way God made me. He made me this way. With the humor, with the meanness, all of it. He made me this way. I shouldn't want to change it. For everybody else, for society, I shouldn't want to change it. If the way I am, like this, gets me locked up, so be it. so be it. If being myself gets me locked up, so be it. I've come to that conclusion. So be it. Yeah. If me speaking truth gets me locked up, so be it. Because God knows anybody that speaks truth on this planet gets crucified or assassinated. God knows that as well. Speak truth, you're dead. Yeah. I learned that at a young age. Anybody that speaks truth and stands up for any truth gets assassinated or crucified. Oh yeah, I learned that young. Anybody that stands up for any truth for real, you're getting assassinated on this planet. Mark my words. Eventually you will, if you eventually get caught for talking truth, like I am in all my videos, you're gonna get assassinated. That's what I always felt. I'm like, I'm gonna get assassinated. Eventually. For speaking truth. Get crucified like Jesus. Oh well. Be among the greats. Be among the greats, before I die. But anyway, that's enough about that. But I think that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. All the main things that my best friend said. But I just want to make a video so for others and for me to have it actually on a video of what he said. His words of wisdom. You know what I mean? Because they are words of wisdom that work. No matter what point you are in your walk or progression or ascension, these words of wisdom always still work, no matter where you're at. Seems like. And that's what I realized. That's why I realized that he was wise. He was very wise. And I need to remember that he was very wise. His advice was better than any life coaches that I've ever come across. Because he knew me. Because I'm like him. So he knew what advice to give me that would work for me. You know what I mean? And maybe it'll work for some of you too, because you're designed like me in a way. You know what I mean? You're not designed like most of society. You're designed different. You know what I mean? Like me. God designed us a little different, all right? Not our fault. God designed us different from day one, all right? Not our fault. But anyways, I'm trying to think if there was anything else he said. That's pretty much the main things. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, those were the main things. Those were the most important things, I think. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. I know we talked a lot about we did talk more than that, but those were the main things, for sure. So maybe that'll help. Maybe some of you out there keep surviving in this world, you know what I mean? This difficult world to live in. That's not like a Disney movie.